Today, we're diving into a story about a mind that was, well, both a breathtaking gift and an absolute curse. We are taking a close look at the life of the brilliant mathematician John Nash as we see it in the incredible film A Beautiful Mind. And really, this one question is at the heart of everything. How do you hold on to who you are when your own mind becomes your worst enemy? It's all about that razor-thin line between genius and madness. So let's jump right in at the beginning. Okay, so our story kicks off at Princeton University. A young John Nash shows up, and he's not there just to study. Oh no, he's there to conquer. He's got this one single-minded obsession. Right away, you can see Nash is different. He's not going to classes. He thinks existing theories are a waste of time. He is just completely driven by this raw obsession to find one truly original idea, something that no one has ever thought of before. And this ambition, it totally isolates him. He becomes this lonely genius, wandering among all these other brilliant people. And you know what? From all that intense, isolated focus, he actually does it. He comes up with game theory, which completely turned economics on its head. For the longest time, everyone followed Adam Smith's idea that if everyone acts in their own self-interest, it's good for the group. Nash proved that's not quite right. The best outcome actually happens when everyone does what's best for themselves and for the group. This wasn't just some abstract math concept. It was a revolutionary way of looking at how people interact. It had massive implications for everything from economics to politics. It was the original idea he'd been searching for. But right at the absolute peak of his success, the very tool that made him a genius, his mind, starts to break apart. And this is where things get truly terrifying, as that line between brilliance and illness just starts to completely disappear. And here's the thing. From his point of view, it all feels completely real. He believes he's been recruited for this top-secret government mission. He's a codebreaker, a patriot, a key player saving the country from a huge conspiracy. The film does such an amazing job of putting us right inside his head, so for a while, we're right there with him, believing it all. So this is the real battle, right here. On one side, you have Nash's world. It's this thrilling adventure with spies and secret codes. But on the other side, you have the devastating clinical reality. These aren't agents, they're hallucinations. It's not a conspiracy, it's paranoia. And the dangerous mission, well, that's the diagnosis, schizophrenia. His incredible mind has built an entire parallel universe, and the fight of his life is now figuring out which one is real. Now, just as Nash's world is completely coming apart, a new and incredibly powerful force enters the story. And it's not a mathematical theory or some brilliant equation. It's a human connection, the only thing that can anchor him in this storm. His wife, Alicia, becomes his absolute rock. I mean, can you imagine? She's faced with this reality she never could have dreamed of, and she has to make a choice. And instead of walking away from the chaos, she decides to stay. She resolves to stand by him and fight, becoming the one steady, stabilizing force in his incredibly turbulent life. And this brings up such a crucial point, right? The struggle isn't just Nash's. It ripples outward, and it deeply, deeply affects everyone who loves him. Alicia's story is just this powerful example of the unbelievable strength and patience it takes to face these kinds of challenges together. So, this support system really becomes the foundation for the final and most transformative part of Nash's life. See, his victory wasn't going to be about finding a cure. It was going to be about finding a completely new way to live. He eventually gets to this devastating but absolutely critical point of acceptance. He finally understands that the figures and the voices that have been haunting him, they're not enemies he can just beat. They're going to be with him forever. He can't win in the way you'd normally think of winning a fight. He can't keep fighting it. It is what it is. And so he's left with just one monumental decision to make. How is he going to live the rest of his life knowing this? His victory, then, isn't about slaying his demons. It's about learning to live with them. He makes a conscious, deliberate choice to simply ignore the creations of his own mind. And that is a monumental act of will. It's a different kind of victory, and maybe a much more profound one. And we see him put this into practice. He actually goes back to Princeton, back to the world that he loves. He teaches classes, he talks to students, he contributes again, all while the figures from his hallucinations are still there, standing in the background. But now, they're just powerless ghosts in a life that he has taken back. And the culmination of this unbelievable journey comes decades later. He receives the Nobel Prize in economics. And this isn't just an award for his brilliant theory from all those years ago.
No, this is a symbol of his victory, a victory over decades of struggle. It's proof of a life that was ultimately defined not by an illness, but by sheer perseverance.
So, what do we take away from this incredible story? Well, for one, being a genius doesn't mean you'll be happy. It shows us that a mental illness doesn't have to be the end of your story. It reminds us just how crucial love and understanding are when you're facing down huge obstacles. And maybe most importantly, it shows us that real strength isn't about never falling down. It's about the courage to get back up again and again, no matter what. In the end, Nash's story isn't just about a beautiful mind. It's about an unbreakable spirit. His win wasn't about curing his disease, but in refusing to let it define him. Which kind of leads us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? What does his story of perseverance against an unbeatable foe tell us about the battles we all face in our own lives?